And showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network. I am also one of your hosts on this program. I am joined this and every week by my co-host Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement consultant for MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, where are you this week? It looks great.
I'm in Southern California. I'm in my home office, Rich. I had a client say to me, hey, I did a really cool background. I complimented them on their background that they're using, and I said, that is awesome. Oh, you know what? Here, let me work one up for you and send it over. And, it's awesome. So, yeah, I kind of think that these virtual backgrounds over time may allow us to be a little bit more a little less tidy than we should be because, I can just, you don't know what's going on over here now. It's all hidden, right?
Yeah.
So, and I have, seen folks that, have the virtual backgrounds and sometimes, the green screen effect isn't working right and they move their head and you get a peek behind where they're at. And, sometimes it's pretty interesting.
It is. It is. I've had that experience where I'm in a meeting with somebody and whatever, they forget to put the virtual background on or they turn it off and you discover that their home office is the garage and there's just, all sorts of stuff stacked. I mean, yeah, it's interesting, the whole virtual background thing, but that your virtual office looks terrific.
Well, thanks. And, my client will appreciate the kudos.
All right, well, let's dive into our story of the week, and it comes to us from Sophos. So to set this up a little bit, there are cloud security products. This is a growing category now. There are, Barracuda, there's a company called SaaS Alert. We could list them endlessly, but there are plenty of products out there that help you discover cloud-based assets and secure those assets. And obviously, remote management tools are a huge and established category, and included within that category are various tools for tracking and optimizing your cloud spending. BitTitan has a product called Valier that includes cost optimization functionality. Cloud Checker, that's pretty much what they do. There are other products. They go out there, they look at what you're spending on these consumption-based products, and they provide tips on eliminating waste and overlap, etc. What Sophos has done is take a cloud security product called Cloud Optix, which came out about 1.5 years ago, and added cost management functionality to it. And what they wound up with is something that's kind of an interesting hybrid. Now, there are products out there, unified endpoint management tools and mobile device management tools that have management functionality and security functionality. So it's not totally unprecedented to have management and security within one platform. But I'm not aware of too many cloud security tools that were designed to be security tools that have sort of, evolved into management as well. So it's kind of an interesting combination. And the way it came about basically is they were getting feedback, first of all, from customers and from partners, but they were using Cloud Optix themselves to manage their own Sophos Central management system. And what all this input was telling them basically, and their own experiences, was that there are tools, cost optimization tools out there, but they tend to include a lot of functionality that people don't necessarily need. They tend to be kind of expensive. And they saw an opening, basically. We're collecting all this information about a company's cloud assets anyway and centralizing all that in one place. Why don't we do the cost optimization inside this tool and just make it a no extra cost feature of the solution? We eliminate the expense. We provide people the functionality they need. They don't have to go off and do this work manually. And they point out there is a security tie-in to cost optimization. That cost optimization function will sometimes expose systems that are maybe costing you a lot of money, but not actually doing a lot of work for you. And as we all know, any workload that's just kind of out there, not providing a lot of value, is a potential attack surface. So you want to be aware of those and get rid of those. But in any event, just kind of an interesting development for a cloud security product, kind of an interesting option for MSPs to consider now, Eric.
Right. I mean, and what an awesome feature to basically, I'm sure they didn't stumble upon this, but what I sense, Rich, is, they're integrating and monitoring and assessing all these different cloud platforms. And so, I got to think that, the developers are like, oh, we're already in here. We're API'd. We've got all this information. Look what else we can do, right? Isn't this cool? So, I think that, it's kind of an opportunity that came from the work that they were doing in the primary line of business and said, oh, well, we can also do this. And what an awesome, like I said, what an awesome benefit and value add to their partners, because, as you touched on, when we can come in and assess a client's environment and say, oh my goodness, you're spending too much money here, and there's some redundancy over there. Those are all cost savings that we can then utilize to fund other initiatives, right? So there could be a consolidation project or an assessment, and condensing and simplifying the solutions and services that a client is using. I mean, without having a tool like this that allows you to assess, like you said, the workloads and the cost and benefit, client would probably just still be paying what they're paying. So I think it's an opportunity to deliver better service for clients, but also an opportunity for partners to leverage to identify other service opportunities that they can deliver to clients.
And needless to say, because you see something like this happen, and you start wondering, is this a step down the road to maybe more management functionality coming out of Sophos? And it wouldn't be totally unprecedented in the industry for a company to offer both management tools and security tools. Barracuda has a cloud security solution, numerous cloud security products, in fact. And they also own an RMM, which, if you trace it all the way back to its roots, is used to be the Level Platforms RMM for those who have been in managed services long enough to remember that name. So, I asked in email the folks at Sophos, is there any thought about more management functionality down the road? And the answer basically was, not really. If we see an opportunity to add a management feature where it makes sense in one of our security products, we'll do it. But there was nothing in the response that I got to indicate that this is part of some larger strategy to do sort of what Barracuda has been doing.
Yeah, it may have been a low-hanging fruit opportunity for them to do something unique and special, but I don't know, Rich. You and I, we've been around the block a few times in the industry here, and one thing I do know about software development companies is it's never done. It's never over. So I'm sure they'll find other opportunities to enhance later.
Stay tuned, folks. Well, Eric, it's time for your tip of the week, which concerns tools as well. And, if a company like Sophos is going to add an interesting new feature to a tool you're already using, you probably ought to take advantage of it. That has something to do with what you want to talk about.
Absolutely. And Rich, again, one of these kind of ripped from the headlines tips of the week, working with a client recently, a new client and their team, and going through their kind of platforms and processes assessment to try to identify and prioritize how we can simplify and increase efficiencies, and learning how they're actually leveraging their existing tools and where there are opportunities for them to accelerate the leverage of those tools. So, we started getting into a conversation and quickly discovered that they're using, one of the top PSAs, awesome, but really haven't configured it properly to alleviate a lot of the extra work, double data entry in multiple systems, and just kind of, extending the time it takes to perform incident management and remediation. I mean, they're logging stuff in the PSA, they're copying and pasting things into notepads, they're using, OneNote for stuff. They're using Outlook for other things, and failing to integrate some of these, some really, easy pickings, as I say. They're using multiple platforms that integrate with the PSA, but they just haven't integrated them yet. So they're really, missing out on having a little bit of stress relief. I know we talked, recently about stress relief, that friction of multiple platforms and the in-between time that is kind of that hidden productivity and utilization killer, is something that we should all be cognizant of. So if if you find that your team is, using multiple platforms and doing extra work simply because you haven't had the time to, strategically look at your platforms and processes and try to integrate and simplify and collapse. Um, I've been in that position, Rich, where, so busy mopping the floor that I don't think I have time to fix the hole in the ceiling, right? But folks, you've got to take some time. You've got to carve it out because, it may seem like, a lot of investment in time up front, but trust me, it will pay so many dividends over time, and it'll provide your team and staff a little bit less frustration, and it'll increase company morale. I mean, on a call with the team, as I'm asking questions and offering suggestions, you could just feel the excitement building. Like, oh yeah, we can do that. That would be so awesome. So, yeah, look at your platforms, integrate, simplify, condense, and help overcome some of that in between time, that productivity killer, jumping between all these dashboards and platforms and apps. And everything needs to live in the PSA and your documentation tool. I mean, having data everywhere else is just having data everywhere else.
I've interviewed a lot of product VPs at companies like Kaseya and ConnectWise and Data, companies that make PSA software. If you really want to watch one of those people sort of grit their teeth and try not to let their frustration show, get them on the subject of MSPs not using great functionality that's available in these tools. It drives them nuts that people come to them and say, boy, I wish you would add a feature that does X, Y, or Z. And it's like, well, it's been there for the last 3 years, right? You didn't know about it. You weren't using it and so on. And we're talking here about integration. This is one of the most kind of fundamental things that a PSA tool does. So, if you're going to make the smart decision to invest in a platform like that, and every MSP should, you really do owe it to yourself to at least take advantage of the fundamental capabilities that are going to make you more efficient. And I would argue it's worth, to your point, the additional investment of time and effort over time to keep up with. Learn about new features that you maybe aren't using yet, keep up with the new features as they become available, and take advantage of those too. You're paying for the platform. It is there to make you more efficient, and you might as well capitalize on all the opportunities that you get to do that.
You used the key term there, Rich, when you use the term investment. Make the investment, because we expect, what do we expect when we invest? We expect a return, and that's exactly what you'll get. And, it was a great conversation, and it even led to, the team, saying, wow, we should probably go and get more, get into that, our PSA's portal and go through more training. And, so it really generated, a groundswell of support, because now, and sometimes, it takes somebody from the outside that's not so close to everything. Like I said, they're so busy mopping the floor, it's hard to be strategic when you're being so reactive. So, we're going to take care of it. It's going to be awesome. They're going to, benefit from that. And so that's something that I certainly wanted to share with everybody this week, because, we've all experienced that, me as well, back in the day.
All right. Well, that leaves us time for just one more story this week. And, one of the things I didn't mention about Cloud Optix before is that it utilizes artificial intelligence to do threat monitoring for the cloud platforms that it's securing on your behalf. And as we know, artificial intelligence can do all sorts of amazing things these days. But now and again, we're reminded that artificial intelligence sometimes fails to live up to the standards set by human intelligence. And here is an example of that. And it comes to us from the Great White North, where a company that sells seeds to gardeners wanted to post a picture on their Facebook page of some Walla Walla onion seeds that they are offering. And Facebook, and this wasn't a person at Facebook, this was like an algorithm, some artificial intelligence tool that was looking at the picture and decided, Now, I want to get the wording right. The picture is no good because it is sexually suggestive. I'm looking at the picture right now, Eric. It's a picture of onions. Little hard to know what it was the artificial intelligence eye was seeing there, but obviously these are rounded shapes. Apparently, this system thought it was looking at breasts. So it's just an opportunity to improve for Facebook and anyone else who's working on artificial intelligence, and in particular, artificial intelligence that relies on optics.
Yeah, big fail for Skynet on that one.
All right. Well, that is all the time we've got this week on the 5-Minute Roundup. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like the show, you want to maybe take a look at some episodes you didn't get a chance to watch in the past, you want to know about the new ones when they go up, go to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube and subscribe. Make sure you click that little bell icon if you want to get the notifications about new episodes. To read more about the Cloud Optix solution from Sophos, to get great business growth advice for your company every day, please visit channelpronetwork.com because we have got terrific new content for you going live there every day. To learn more about Eric and the work he does with his clients, your destination should be ericsimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. So folks, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to be back again next week with another episode for you. Until then, please enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.